You know that moment when something just doesn't sit right? When a tiny detail keeps scratching at the back of your mind until you can't ignore it anymore? That's exactly where Prince Harry found himself, 3 weeks after that photo hit the internet. It was supposed to be nothing, just another yacht picture, another Meghan memory. But Harry couldn't stop himself. He zoomed in on that same Croatia photo for what must have been the 100th time, like he was searching for ghosts. And then, he saw it. A navy blue bag tossed casually on the yacht deck, gold lettering catching the sun. It read, Soho House. His heart nearly stopped. It wasn't just a random yacht, it was a Soho House yacht. The ultra-exclusive club network that Meghan used to breathe in and out. The same network where she'd met Marcus Anderson, her so-called best friend, her rock, her everything. The man who'd stood front row at their royal wedding like he owned the place. Harry's hands started shaking. He opened his laptop, pulled up Google, and typed with deliberate care, Soho House, Marcus Anderson, Meghan Markle. What came up next chilled him to his core. Marcus wasn't just some quirky friend from Toronto. He wasn't just the fun, sophisticated guy Meghan always described. No, Marcus Anderson was deep inside Soho House International, a consultant with deep ties to its elite members. But that wasn't even the shocking part. According to several old society blogs and deleted articles Harry managed to dig up, the kind that had mysteriously vanished from the web, Marcus had another reputation entirely. He was the connector, the man behind the curtain, the one who made the introductions that changed lives. Marcus connected beautiful, ambitious women with wealthy, powerful men. He arranged meetings, set up parties, created coincidences. He wasn't just networking, he was building bridges between worlds that weren't supposed to meet. Harry read one archived Toronto Life article from 2014 that described Marcus as the man who knows everyone worth knowing and makes sure the right people meet. That's when Harry's stomach dropped. He'd always thought Marcus was just Meghan's loyal friend, someone from her Suits days. But what if Marcus had been her handler all along? What if every yacht trip, every photo op, every accidental meeting had been orchestrated? The thought made him sick. But curiosity turned into obsession, and obsession turned into investigation. Harry spent the next 6 hours glued to his computer, searching for every picture of Meghan ever taken at any Soho House location. Toronto, London, Barcelona, Istanbul, Miami, you name it. And what he found flipped his entire world upside down. There she was, November 2015, at Soho House, Istanbul, wearing a designer dress that easily cost more than her entire monthly salary, surrounded by British and European businessmen. One man in that photo made Harry freeze. Sir Nicholas Hathaway, a polo club owner who donated $50,000 to Harry's Centrebell charity in 2016. And there he was, arm around Meghan's waist, a whole year before she supposedly met Harry for the first time. Then another photo, Soho House, Barcelona, summer 2014. Meghan on a rooftop, laughing with two men Harry recognized from his own polo circuit. He'd played against them, he knew them, and there she was, already in his world, 2 years before their famous blind date. He started cross-referencing charity donors with faces in Meghan's old Soho House photos. The overlap? Mind-blowing. Eight of the men who'd later donated to Harry's charities had been photographed with Meghan between 2014 and 2016 at various Soho House events. She hadn't stumbled into his life. She'd been orbiting it, carefully, deliberately, for years. One image showed her at a 2014 polo after-party in England. Harry hadn't been there, but 5 of his closest friends had. She was already shaking hands, smiling that calculated Hollywood smile, getting familiar with his circle. This wasn't luck. This was reconnaissance. Harry's mind was spinning. He needed answers. So, late one night, he called an old acquaintance, a former Soho House member from his wild London days. Someone who'd been deep in that scene and might tell him the truth. The call lasted 40 minutes, and by the end of it, Harry sat in total silence for over an hour. The kind of silence that comes when your whole world collapses. His friend didn't sugarcoat it. Marcus Anderson, he said, ran what people in that world called a finishing school. He'd find ambitious, photogenic women and train them. He taught them how to dress, how to talk, how to move around men with power. He gave them access to Soho House's elite network, a global playground for the rich, famous, and well-connected. Actresses met producers, models met investors, and sometimes, ambitious women met royalty. It wasn't prostitution, not even close, it was strategy. Marcus had mastered the art of matchmaking with purpose. He knew which powerful man would be at which event. He knew the charity circuits, the polo matches, the galas, and if he wanted 2 worlds to collide, he made it happen. Harry's blood ran cold because Marcus had attended those very galas. He'd been in the background at multiple events Harry had attended years before he even met Meghan. The connection wasn't coincidence, it was blueprint. Marcus had known Harry's schedule, his causes, his social calendar. Everything. He could position someone perfectly, like a chess piece sliding toward the king. And suddenly, Harry realized, Maybe there hadn't been any fate at all. Maybe their so-called fairy tale romance had been engineered from the start. But then came the question that truly haunted him. How had Meghan afforded all this? The private memberships, the flights between continents, the designer gowns, the lavish hotel stays. Harry knew exactly how much she'd earned on suits, and those numbers didn't add up. Through one of his trusted contacts connected to Soho House Toronto, he finally learned the truth, and it made his skin crawl. Meghan's membership had been fully comped. She hadn't paid a penny for 5 years. When Harry asked who'd sponsored her, the contact went silent for a moment before quietly admitting, "Marcus has his ways of making sure certain women have access." Her fees had been covered through corporate accounts. In other words, someone, or some people, had been investing in her. They'd bankrolled her rise from TV actress to global socialite. The travel, the clothes, the events, the access, all of it. Harry did the math himself. Between 2014 and 2016, Meghan's lifestyle would have cost at least $70,000 to $80,000 a year, way beyond what her suit's salary could stretch to. She hadn't built that world alone. She'd been sponsored. When Harry finally learned who'd paid for her memberships, it all made horrifying sense. Marcus Anderson wasn't just introducing Meghan to powerful people, he was positioning her, funding her, like a player in a royal-level chess match. And Harry? He had been the king she'd been moving toward all along. One morning, Prince Harry did something he hadn't done since the wedding. He walked over to that heavy mahogany chest in his study, the one that still held every memento of that day. The invitations, the photos, the guest list. That guest list had been sacred once, but now it looked like evidence. He spread out the pages on his desk, 600 names in total, half chosen by his team, half by Meghan's. For years, he'd never questioned it. He'd trusted her. But that trust had been eroding like sand in his hands. So this time, he looked closer. He grabbed a highlighter, opened a list of Soho House International members he'd found online, and started cross-checking every name. Within minutes, his pulse started to climb. Marcus Anderson, right there on the front row. Jessica Mulroney, Soho House regular. Misha Nonu, the friend who'd supposedly arranged Harry and Meghan's blind date. Serena Williams, another member. The deeper he went, the worse it got. 60, yes, 60, of Meghan's guests were directly tied to Soho House. Not friends from childhood, not Suits colleagues, not old mentors, but Soho insiders, people who'd mingled in those velvet-draped lounges long before Harry came into the picture. And it hit him like a train. His wedding hadn't been a love story celebration. It had been a networking summit. Every smiling face, every raised champagne glass, it wasn't about love. It was about access. When Harry looked at the photos from that glittering reception at Frogmore, it all seemed so different now. There was Marcus Anderson, front and center, champagne in hand, standing with 4 other Soho House executives, looking smug, almost like a mission accomplished. Harry stared at their faces for what felt like hours. His chest ached. His hands trembled. He wasn't just heartbroken. He was humiliated. He realized that the woman he'd fought the world to protect had brought the world he'd been trying to escape right into his arms. It wasn't just a wedding. It was a grand finale. The ultimate showcase of how far Meghan had climbed. And Harry, he was the prize. Late that night, while the world slept, Harry's mind started replaying a faint memory, something he'd buried deep. It was a voicemail. From William. Back before the engagement. He'd deleted it almost immediately back then, thinking his brother was just jealous, protective, or maybe, as Meghan used to insist, threatened by her independence. But that night, he felt something tugging at him. So he opened his old phone archives, scrolled through years of data, and there it was. November 2017. He hit play. William's voice filled the room. Serious, calm, but layered with something rare. Fear. Harry, I need you to listen to me. Palace security ran a background check. I know you won't want to hear this, but Meghan has been part of the Soho House crowd for years. Marcus Anderson's reputation in those circles is well known. He positions women. This isn't about her acting career. She's been photographed with people from your orbit since 2014. This woman has been positioned in your path. I'm not saying she doesn't care for you, but please, just understand what you're walking into. Call me back. Harry froze. He couldn't breathe. He replayed it. Twice. 3 times. His brother hadn't been jealous. He hadn't been judgmental. He'd been trying to save him. Then Harry scrolled further and found 2 more voicemails. Messages he'd deleted without listening, back when he thought love made him bulletproof. Security found photos of her with your friends from before you met her. Marcus Anderson has ties to your charity donors. Please, just check before you propose. Harry pressed his palms into his eyes until everything went black. William had seen the pattern. He'd known. And Harry, too stubborn, too blinded by infatuation, had ignored the warnings. He'd even fought with William over it, accused him of racism, jealousy, cruelty. For a moment, Meghan didn't move. Then with a scoff that chilled him, she said, "Working with him? Harry, do you hear yourself? You sound insane. Marcus is my friend. He helped me navigate a world you'll never understand. Don't lie to me, Harry whispered. His eyes were glassy, his voice raw. I know what Marcus does. I know he sets up introductions. I know your membership was paid for. I know you were at parties with my friends 2 years before our so-called blind date. So stop pretending this was some fairy tale. You're paranoid, she hissed. You're losing it. But Harry saw it. A flicker in her eyes just for a second, a flash of guilt, a flash of truth, and that was all he needed, because in that silence, in that unspoken pause, he knew. Marcus was still there, still advising, still whispering in her ear, and Harry, he was no longer the plan, he was the pawn. Now sources close to the Sussexes whisper that Harry lives in what can only be described as a slow-motion nightmare. He's reportedly become consumed with paranoia, checking Meghan's phone, questioning her meetings, demanding explanations for every name and every message. Who introduced you? Have you worked with them before? Did Marcus put you in touch? He's found encrypted messaging apps on her phone, ones he can't access. When he demanded the passwords, Meghan snapped that he was controlling and needed therapy. Maybe he does, but Harry knows something Meghan doesn't realize. Paranoia means fear of something imaginary. And nothing about this feels imaginary anymore. Because what he's seen, what he's proven, is that the Soho House network wasn't just Meghan's past. It was her foundation. Every contact, every opportunity, every photo shoot, it all led to him. He wasn't a coincidence. He was the culmination. Now he lies awake at night in that sprawling California mansion wondering, was he ever the destination or just a stepping stone on a much larger climb? And that, darling, is how a royal love story turned into a royal tragedy. One whispered about behind diamond chandeliers and velvet curtains. One that makes even the most seasoned gossip columnist clutch her pearls. Because love, as it turns out, isn't always written in the stars. Sometimes it's drawn on the membership card of a Soho House elite.